Okay, we're really up against it. The Minister has to be, sorry, the Cabinet Secretary has to be back to Parliament by leaving at 1:15. Is that correct?
No, I've got it.
Are you sure? Perfect. Thank you. In that case, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the final speaker, Lash Saranna from EZOO.
Thank you very much. Just a quick show of hands. Now, we've had John who walked in, a few other people have walked in today into the event. How many people actually drove in by car and with an electric car? Wow, okay. This is what we need. How many people drove in a hybrid, any form of hybrid? Perfect. I'm in the right room to talk to you about electric vehicles. Right, okay, so transition is needed, as we can see, fast. A lot of the panel have spoken about a number of things, and they're quite right in everything. Only one point with Ian I'm going to disagree on, price parity, but we'll come on to that. So, my name's Lash Saranna. I'm the co-founder and CEO of EZOO. We're based in Coventry, but we're also based in Glasgow. So local, we have business with a number of companies in Scotland, so we are a local company here as well. So, as I said, the show of hands just shows how long the journey is that we've actually got to get to for mass adoption, and what we want to do as EZOO, help make that journey as easy as possible, but as fast as possible. So, okay. What we've got to do, or why should we go electric? That's the first thing. So I transitioned personally to electric cars, having built Europe's largest Porsche centre. And back in 2012, I visualised the world through my daughter's eyes, who was then 12. She wanted to go to university and study sustainability. This was a thing like pushed straight over my head, sustainability. I live in central England, in Kenilworth. So, climate change ain't going to affect me. How wrong I was, and as we've all gone through COVID, we realise that it is a different world. So air pollution, back in 2013-12 time, killed in the UK 40,000 people in a year, and nobody bats an eyelid, and the numbers are pretty much the same and higher today, but we don't actually talk about it. So really, it's something that we've got to do. We, the people in the room, are the ones who are going to change and make this transition happen. Electric cars are on price parity, I'd like to think myself, because you can look at the budget cars, you can look at the mid-range cars, you can look at the expensive cars. If you can get a petrol car, you can also get an electric car for the same money. So, how people, sorry, I'm going to change this. People think that electric cars are actually in the future, but they're not. They're here now. And I'm actually really disappointed with the fact there were not even 10 people in the room that drove an electric car. That's really low. I haven't seen a number as low as that for years. Okay. So why should we change to electric cars, or why should we go electric? We should go electric because it's better for the planet. So what we need to do is actually change. Actually, another one slide here. Right, the slides seem to be halfway up and halfway down, but okay. Yeah. It's why are people holding back at the moment, right? So what we've got, perceived cost versus actual cost. As I said, at the moment, electric cars are on price parity, but people believe that they're too expensive, right? The three things: one, the cars are too expensive; two, we haven't got anywhere to charge them; and three, they don't go far enough, right? First one is price parity, so we've actually reached that point. And there are various incentives to get the cars even cheaper than that, which I'll touch on later. Second thing, the range is not enough. But again, as most of the people on the panel have already answered, an electric car, even a budget car now, goes 200 miles on one charge. Most cars are near the 300-mile mark. And yet the average journey is 30 miles a day. So we've got plenty of range. And in terms of charging, ZapMap last month issued the latest charging figures, and there's over 76,000 charge points in the UK, which is almost double the number of petrol stations that we have. And again, on the panel, we've got rapid charging. You can actually charge your car anything from, at the moment, 15 minutes upwards, but that time is coming lower and lower. So we'll soon be at a point where we can get to the same as a petrol car. How does EZOO drive adoption? Well, we've got a couple of things. One is salary sacrifice. The other is business subscription. Salary sacrifice is a bit of a mystery because most people know the term, but they don't really know what it means. And here in Scotland, it's the best place in the UK to be because the savings on your tax and national insurance are taken at source, at your salary, by your employer, hence the reduction in the price of the car to the employee. Business subscription is pretty much the same. We're helping businesses to transition to electric, so we're offering 3-month term on an electric car. The business can either use that for new starters, for project workers, for basically transitioning, just trying it out. And there's no commitment more than the 3 months. So either 3 months, you roll the contract, or you can hand it back. So there's no long-term commitment or contracts. So how does salary sacrifice work? This diagram here, or the slide, actually highlights 3 things. It's cost neutral to the employer. There is no cost for the scheme that we actually implement. And before anybody thinks, oh, well, where's the savings then? Or for us, where do we earn our money? We earn our money out of the scheme, but the employer is cost neutral. The employee is the person making the savings. We have early termination. One of the reasons why employers are not really taking salary sacrifice up as much as they should is the fear of, what if my employee leaves? I'm going to be lumbered with this car for 36, 48 months. What happens? As long as you can see the first 3 months out, we have a termination package already incorporated into the scheme, which allows simply hand the car back. It's a fully managed scheme, so there is no more additional work for the employer to do other than what they do already. The payroll is the only difference, but we will actually give the figures that should go on the payroll as being HMRC compliant. We can work out the calculations of the tax reduction, the NI savings, the VAT element, etc. That's all listed down. It's an all-in-one inclusive service. So one thing people don't know is that used vehicles actually qualify for salary sacrifice. This is the biggest increase now at the moment. Over the last 9 months, salary sacrifice has gone up 68% year on year, purely because of the used EV sector. So most of us are led to believe that electric vehicles depreciate very fast, and they're quite right. They do. But with salary sacrifice, you are not buying the vehicle, you never own the vehicle, so you haven't got the depreciation factor. On the plus side, when a 3-year lease is already up, or 4 years, the second life of leasing now encounters the depreciation and then the savings on salary sacrifice, making the used EVs really, really affordable, very affordable. And that's where the majority of our business at the moment seems to be coming from. For the employees, fantastic news. Like I said, a lot of them now, the cars that we're putting out are premium cars at budget prices. That's the best way to put it. So that's a very good thing. And then finally, environmentally friendly. We offer home charge point solutions, which we can add on into the salary sacrifice, so it's an all-in-one payment that you're making from your salary. For the employee, the tax and national insurance savings, as I say, here in Scotland, the national insurance is higher, so the savings are greater. Full access, you've got all of the EV and plug-in hybrids. That's another element that since the ZEV mandate, plug-in hybrids now offer the opportunity to actually transition to electric at a much slower pace, but something that people can get used to, because we're used to petrol, we're used to diesel. Now you can have a car that runs like the car that you've always driven, but try it on electric and drive the 40 or the 80 miles on one charge. All inclusive, so the car, the insurance, the maintenance, the road tax, everything is encountered in that one payment that you make. So there's nothing else to do other than charge a car and drive it. Flexible, as I say, 3 months upwards. We actually operate the shortest salary sacrifice term in the UK, 3 months upwards, right? So you can take cars 3 to 24 months from our fleet, or if you want a car to your specification, your colour, your desire, 24 months upwards, you get what you want. Protection cover, so if you've got maternity, paternity, etc., life-changing illness, we can take care of all of that, is covered. And then, as I say, home or work charge point places, we can take care of those. How does salary sacrifice compare to traditional leasing? If you look at the column on your right, that's traditional leasing. Salary sacrifice includes everything that was just said, but if you look at the savings, and that is based on a £47,000 car for a higher rate taxpayer. So what can you do to drive adoption in your business, in the public sector? These are just some of the things listed here. One of the things that one of our customers, Coventry Chamber of Commerce, does, they actually offer free charging to try and encourage staff to go into work. They give them free charging as long as they work more than 3 days a week in the office. That brings people back in, but then they're getting something for it. Educate and engage your team. That one, we do lunch, learn and drive events on site. We'll hold a half an hour session about salary sacrifice, Q&A, and then we've got a selection of vehicles to actually drive the cars. And finally, leading by example. I think everybody in this room, we can all do our bit by actually transitioning, or at least taking the steps to transition on that 3-month period.